name is Bobby Brown. I chose to do my final project for DTC 354 on the formation and biodiversity found at Kamiak Butte, a state park that's roughly 8 miles from Pullman, or a 15-minute drive. Kamiak Butte was once part of a mountain range in the area that was eventually surrounded by massive basalt lava flows that covered the majority of eastern Washington. This layer of deposited basalt was extremely thick and was large enough to turn the peaks of mountains into smaller rock islands. Over the span of millions of years, this thick rock mass began to compress the landscape and form soils. During Earth's glaciation period, extremely large glaciers formed, and about 11,700 years ago they began to melt, forming large lakes that were dammed behind large glacial dams. Eventually these ice dams melted away to the point that they broke and released massive amounts of water into the landscape. This large amount of water began to melt and refreeze over the course of thousands of years. This destructive series of events created the landscape in Washington known today as the Channeled Scablands. The topography of the Kamiak Butte area greatly influences the surrounding ecosystem and is varied throughout the park. Kamiak Butte is essentially a protruding, elongated rock that stretches from east to west. The result of this geologic formation is a spine structure with one facing a north aspect and the other side facing a south aspect. This greatly influences the plant species that can be found on the north aspect side versus the south aspect side. Foliage on the south aspect of Kamiak Butte must tolerate more diffuse light, therefore limiting this area to species with more shade-tolerant characteristics. However, the north aspect of Kamiak Butte provides ample direct light for more shade-intolerant species to grow. This contrasting and opposite-facing slopes of the butte provides a very diverse habitat for a wide variety of plant species to thrive. Now that I've talked about the general formation of Kamiak Butte as a whole, we're going to jump over to my roommate Jeff, who is a forestry major here at Washington State, where he will discuss the importance of species variety further.
Hi, I'm Jeff Zane. I am a forestry student at Washington State University, and we're out here at Kamiak Butte today, and I'm going to talk to you guys about species diversity and a little bit of information about forestry measurements and ecosystems. Alright, this right here is a Douglas fir. They're native to the Pacific Northwest region as they prefer more moist, rich soil environments. They have historically been able to withstand the fires in the area that have burned other species, but resulted in these trees being able to regenerate. This right here is a ponderosa pine. It is also native to this area, but it prefers more of a drier, arid environment, so it's kind of common to see them in this region combined with other tree species such as the western larch and Douglas fir. On the south side of Kamiak Butte, there's pretty much only ponderosa pine because the south side receives a lot more direct sunlight, whereas on the north side it's more diffuse sunlight, which gives more shade for trees like the Douglas fir to grow and thrive. The ponderosa pine is also historically fire-tolerant species and is able to regenerate in areas that have been burned by wildfire. This right here is a Spencer tape. It is commonly used by loggers and other people in the forestry industry. And on one side you have length measurements, and the other side there's a diameter measurement. So you're able to take the diameter of trees. So I'm going to demonstrate how you take a DBH measurement on this ponderosa pine tree right here. You want to get on the uphill side of the tree. And for me, DBH is about right here. This is about 4.5 feet, just from memory, I know that. And you want to go ahead and wrap the tape around the tree. Make sure that it's perpendicular at the angle of the tree. And you put the two ends together, and this one's 21.4 inches. So here's an example of some downed woody debris. These trees were killed from competition-driven mortality in combination with some root and beetle problems in the area. And trees, when they fall like this and they decompose, different animals are able to create burrows and nests inside of them and live in a sheltered area outside of the environment. And also when these trees start to decompose, nutrients are released back into the soil, providing more energy for further plant growth. So in conclusion, all these different species are able to work together to provide enough biodiversity to provide nutrients and habitat for all sorts of different wildlife species.